One moment, you're a tiny, translucent egg in a sandy nest, one of 10,000. The next, you're a wriggling speck with eyes, thrust into a world that considers you a free sample. Your father, a surprisingly colorful and aggressive guardian, does his best to chase away intruders. He isn't just he's a titan, a legend of the lake bed, large and dominant. He is your protector. One sunny afternoon, a fat, juicy worm appears dancing unnaturally near the edge of the nest. It's too tempting, an easy meal for the king. Your father moves to intercept it, but the moment his mouth closes around it, an invisible force yanks him from the bottom. He fights, but he is dragged relentlessly upward, toward the blinding light of the surface until he vanishes completely. What you and your thousands of siblings couldn't possibly know is that up in the air world, your father just became a legend for a different reason. He became the world record, the largest ever caught. His name was T.S. Hudson's fish, landed in 1950, weighing an impossible 4 pounds, 12 ounces, about 2.15 kilograms, and measuring 15 inches long, a record that would stand for over 75 years. But to you, he wasn't a statistic. He was your guardian, and now he was gone. You have to learn to fend for yourself. Your life isn't a grand adventure, it's a constant low-grade anxiety attack. You find safety not in strength, but in numbers. You join a school with your surviving siblings. You move as one, you flee as one. There's no individuality. Food is whatever tiny insect or crustacean you can find. You see the bigger fish, the pike, the bass, and you understand your place in this world with absolute clarity. You are not the hero of this story. You are the background character who gets eaten on page 3. A few years pass. A gigantic shadow rises from the murky depths. It's a catfish the size of a log. The darkness engulfs you in a violent world-ending suction. So that's it, the life of a bluegill. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more. Just kidding. That almost happened like a dozen times. But that wasn't the end for this bluegill. He was a survivor, remember? The son of a legend. Against all odds, you've made it. You're no longer a tiny, terrified fry. You're a full-grown adult, the size of a man's hand. You are a master of survival. You have your own little territory. It's not much, but it's yours. For a fish that's on everyone's menu, you're surprisingly aggressive. You flare your gills and chase away smaller fish that get too close. This illusion of control feels good. In your small 2-foot kingdom, your life settles into a routine. Morning is for hunting insects near the surface. Midday is for hiding from the sun and the predators that hunt in the bright light. Evening is for another round of feeding as the bigger fish settle down. But as spring warms the water, a new instinct, deeper than hunger or fear, takes over. It's time to build a legacy. Then find a perfect patch of sand, digging a small, circular crater, a nest. You attract a mate, and soon your nest is filled with thousands of tiny eggs. Your new mission is absolute. Protect this nest. This is when the true horror of your world becomes clear. A plastic bottle cap settles right on the edge of your nest, a permanent, unnatural intruder. A plastic bag waves like a ghostly monster in the current. Your paternal rage, meant for crayfish and rival fish, now has a new target. You spend hours bumping your head against the bottle cap, trying to dislodge it. This isn't a fight you can win. It's a constant, low-grade stress. One afternoon, you see one of your own siblings, a fish you grew up with. He makes a mistake you learned to avoid long ago. He eats a worm dangling from the surface. You watch as he is yanked from the water. But the fisherman looks at him with disgust and says, "At least you're good for something. Let's go get a real fish." You don't understand the words, but you understand the tone. Then comes the ultimate indignity. The fisherman hooks your brother through the back and casts him out into deeper water. You watch in horror as a dark shape rises from the depths and your sibling vanishes in a violent swirl. He survived his entire life just to become bait for something more important. That image sears itself into your mind. You become even more careful, more reclusive. You grow, fueled by the memory of your father's size and your brother's fate. You become larger than any bluegill has a right to be. Then, one evening, the perfect lure drifts into your territory. It mimics a wounded minnow flawlessly. For the first time, your territorial rage overwhelms your caution. You strike. The fisherman on the other end feels a shock he's never experienced. Oh my God, it's a monster! You pull with the deep just because you're a...
The goat! The goat!
The fishing rod bends into an impossible arc, and then it happens. Crack. You broke the rod clean in half, the line goes slack, you are free. Years pass. The legend of the giant, record-breaking bluegill from 1950 is still told, but now it's always followed by a newer story from a wild-eyed fisherman at the local bar. A story of a fish that broke his rod, a creature of impossible strength, a bluegillzilla. They don't know your story. They don't know you're the son of the record holder, a survivor forged in tragedy. Your fate isn't to be a trophy. Perhaps you finally died of old age. Or perhaps you're still down there, growing larger and more powerful, the one legend that got away. What creature do you think we should tackle next? Drop your suggestions in the comments below. And if you felt a little bit of sympathy for this freshwater monster, make sure to hook the like button, subscribe for more, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. Thanks for watching.